Hello, mate. As I said, I was going to do some filming for you for a bit of rehab and strengthening stuff. I'm a firm belief it's going to be hips, glutes, and lower abs that are giving you grief. I know your lower back's the problem, but it could actually be restriction or limitation or weakness in those areas. So I'm going to give you a couple of mobility things to look at, and then I'm going to give you a couple of like strengthening exercises to look at as well. I'll give you kind of rep ranges to work off, but really just feel it out. Feel it out. If it feels good, keep going. If it feels like shit, stop and let me know. I'm happy to do as many of these videos as you need to kind of keep you moving forward and get you pain free. So let's get into it and let's get started. Okay, so first one we're going to do with our fun trigger point ball is we're going to look at the top of hamstring where it meets your glute, so your insertion point. I've got 2 steps stacked on top of each other, but you can use grandstand seating, you can use steps up to a balcony or up a stairwell or whatever. As long as you can sit on the ball right where it meets hamstring to glute, which is pretty tasty for me. You might feel it refer into your groin, up through your hip, or you could just feel it on the spot. So you got to make sure you're sitting on the ball, not shying away from it. Hold on if you need to, and just have a bit of an explore, like side to side with our knee. If that's all right, extend the leg, because what we do there is we pin the muscle, and now we're pulling the muscle across the ball as well. So that's real tasty when I do that. Try and keep your posture all right. Like you can see my leg's not getting to straight. It's because the hamstrings, well, shit flexibility, but the hamstring's being pinned so it can't actually go to full straight. If that feels all right, you can go a little bit further down the hamstring. So now the ball's like this much into my hamstring, and that one's real tender as well. So I did a run yesterday and trained with Isaac, and I'm feeling these ones today. But yeah, maybe 8 reps if you're doing your leg thing, but sit on this just for as long as you need to. My right side being the injured side, it's going to be a touch more nasty. I get referral down into like the top of calf, but that's coming off a run, right? So the whole hamstring's being worked here. But yeah, sit on a ball, side to side, and extensions, okay? Trigger point ball, you've done this previously. We're going to put the ball into our TFL, which is our hip socket or our hip joint, and then we're going to look to explore our lower back as well. So ball on the ground, you're going to lay in the fetal position, so knees up ever so slightly, and you're going to stack yourself on top of the ball and just move around and see what's doing, because you will find some nastiness in there. So I'm getting referral down into my knee by doing this. And you're just going to stay here. You don't need to be too crazy with it. If it subsides, lift yourself up, put yourself back down on it, because I guarantee you'll find another point. And you can stay here until you've either had enough or it's not really doing much anymore. So do the same on both sides. The next one is what you've done previously. So I call it like a lounge position. So leaning on my forearm, this leg will be out straight. And I'm going to put the ball like on the band of where my shorts would sit. And I'm just going to be off on an angle ever so slightly. So I'm getting this straight into my groin. Some people feel it in their lower back. Some people feel it in their hip. And it's really up to you. So for me, that elastic band's a good guide. But you might explore down into your glute a little bit more to get a bit of a different taste. Or you might explore up to your lower back a little bit more to get a bit more. So there's no wrong answer here. Just have an explore. But I know you, and you'll go, nope, that's enough time to get off. You just got to breathe and relax into it, okay? You can do it. Okay, so the last mobility kind of move that we'll look at in these kind of exercises is going to be a bit of a weird one that you can have creative control with. So you can either do this static or dynamic. So stationary or moving, up to you. I'm going to use the squat rack for support. You can use any old pole or a basketball hoop stand or whatever. Anything where you can hold on, okay? So you're going to hold on with your hand out to the side, And then you're going to reach over the top. Then you're going to try and reach the outside foot as far as you can, and you're trying to create as much length down your side as possible. Now, I try and hold this like a minute to 90 seconds. If that's too nasty, we can always move it into a dynamic in and out, whatever your body kind of allows you to do. This is a stretch, so I don't want you to finish and be like, oh, that really hurt. I want you to finish and be like, oh, that's better. Okay, so just stay in your lane with this one. Also, too, a very simple stretch will be your hamstring stretch. So find a height that's annoying. I'm just going to use this for example. Kick your foot up, hold your posture, and just subtly fold forward. Okay, so there's 4 mobility moves, 2 with the trigger point ball, or 3 really, 1 stretch, and 1 either stretch or dynamic movement. Okay, so if you can do them, that's going to do you well. Sorry, thought of another one. This is going to be kind of weird, but you got to trust me, this works. We're going to do like an active frog stretch, or these are called hip rocks. So one of the issues I believe you might have is not a bad thing, but it's duck butt, where you pop your butt backwards on a lot of stuff. So you're constantly loading your lower back. If you have weak lower abs, that's going to be a problem. A lot of females do it anyway, just because of how they stand so much. So we're going to look at pelvic control, which is going to get your lower abs working. So I'm using a mat to make life easier on my knees, but you can use a towel. Go knees as wide as you can. And you're trying to keep the lower back, like your tailbone, pointing backwards, right? I'm going to do it off my hands, and I'm going to push my butt back as far as I can without rounding, okay? So tailbone's pointing directly backwards. I'm going to go back and then come forward. So you holding your tailbone here is going to make your lower back work, and then it's also going to stretch your groin as well. Now, once you've got the idea of how to do that, you can drop to your forearms and do it, and then throw midsection tension on it as well. Now, the next step up from this is you can use I'm just using this. It's called bottle rocks because you put a bottle in that position, so a bottle full of water or something, and you're going to push back without it rolling off your back, okay? So midsection's engaged, I'm working controlled, and I'm keeping my pelvic position strong, okay? Have a crack on it. It is weird, yes, but trust me, it works.